From the Improv Studios on Melrose Boulevard in the heart of Hollywood, it's the Nighttime Show. With our special guest, head writer of the Nighttime Show, Matt Walker. I'm your announcer, Mike Black, and now, the host of the Nighttime Show himself, needier than a newborn puppy, Mr. Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Wow, buddy, that was fantastic. I really am a very needy friend. I know that.
In the best way.
Yeah, no, like in a good way.
You're a very productively needy friend.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, you want to talk about ideas? You know,
monologue, maybe.
Constantly planning a million things at once. But we accomplish these things. We do these things. Yes, constantly scheming. I'm a very scheming person.
You're like a grown-up little rascal. Like you're always wanting to put on a show.
It's like, let's get the gang together, we'll paint the barn and put on a show.
Yeah.
Let's build a tree house.
And we've made almost as much money as they do.
Except we know he's not Alfalfa, because Alfalfa had that one hair, which is one more than Steven.
I got no hairs.
Spanky was the leader, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, Spanky, the little chubby kid.
Yes.
Very Spanky. I'm like a cross between Spanky and Steve Carell on The Office.
Yes.
Basically like a sled right between those two characters.
I'm kind of butch. I like to bully you a little bit.
You are kind of a butch.
I guess it makes Mike Darla.
Or Froggy.
Froggy.
Do you know Froggy died by getting hit by a car when he was 16 outside the studio?
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because
So Froggy
something I've done in the past, I've gotten grave hopping, where you ever like go visit famous people's graves, right?
Of course you do.
At Rose Hills, Froggy is buried at Rose Hills. And I went and I visited Froggy's grave, and then he was like 16 and he got hit by a car outside the studio.
He was 16 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Froggy died like Frogger. That's really sad.
Poor Frog.
Trying to dodge traffic.
God.
That kid was so cool.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
He had a cool, weird voice.
He was the only one who was drinking scotch. You know? Like, they never showed it, but that's what they were trying to imply with that voice.
For sure.
Yeah. He was hardcore. Well, I mean, they should have implied... which one was... what's his face? The guy who shot his wife outside Vitello's.
Oh. Was he...
Robert Blake.
Was Robert Blake on
He was
the
in
show?
Little Rascals. Yeah, he was one of our gang.
Which rascal was
I gotta look him up.
Which that's one hell of a rascal.
Trigger.
Shot his wife. Trigger happy, the rascal.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
I remember once I found like the spot where his car was parked, where he left the wife and he went back to go get his gun, and I parked there on purpose once we were doing stand-up at Vitello's, because he used to do stand-up there every now and then. I'm like, I'm going to park where Robert Blake parked when he shot his wife.
God. Do you remember
when they did their
there?
shows on the Little Rascals? He was the security.
Yeah.
Take people outside and rough them up.
I'm pretty sure he was in the Little Rascals. Let me see. I'm looking him up right now.
Oh, my God.
Googling it, and...
we're getting Googled.
We'll find out that he was there when Froggy died. He pushed him into traffic.
He began appearing in MGM's Our Gang short subjects under his real name, replacing Eugene Porky Lee.
Porky.
So Porky.
So he was like the guy who replaced Porky.
Oh, that's too bad.
He wasn't like a main character.
Well, I think we know who Porky is of our group. Our little mascot.
I think there's a three-way tie.
Oh. Well,
I know who's not Porky. That's the only thing I think we can definitively say.
Yeah.
You're not Porky.
You're definitely not Porky. You're a ham, but you're not Porky.
Very true. I don't dispute that for 1 minute.
So guys, if you're listening to the show, this may be one of the first episodes that we're airing, which is cool. It's this is a show that we're going to be doing. It's going to be airing once a week. It is the podcast version of our live show that we do at the Hollywood Improv, which is it's a great show called The Nighttime Show, in which we do weird stuff. It's like a live late night show. Yeah. And both you sons of bitches are a big part of this thing since day one.
Yep.
How did I talk you guys into being a part of this? How did this happen?
It was because you were guest hosting for Tom Green on Tom Green's Webvision.
Oh shit, yeah.
Like a year ago.
Right.
And then you brought us both in and you asked Mike if he would do a weird animal guest segment with you.
Yes.
Where he pretended that a dog was a dangerous animal and nobody knew what it was.
And you were dressed up as a zoologist.
Yeah, and that the dog could draw. and drew a
Right.
picture of you that was very
Yes.
unflattering.
Right.
It was great. That was very funny.
It was
then,
a really
fun to
great
do.
bit.
And then you asked me to come in and write a monologue for you.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
came in, and I remember one of the jokes I wrote was about how the NBA All-Star game had just taken place, and they once again overlooked you because apparently weighing the same as Shaq wasn't enough to make it.
Right.
It was jokes
right.
like that.
It was good.
just-
They were good jokes.
Jesus.
Same
And
body
then-
mass.
But then
you had our mascot Robbie sexually molesting me
while you were holding up the cue
like
cards.
rubbing my ear and like blowing on my ear and just like rubbing up against me, and I was so grossed out.
Yeah, like,
which is why you did it.
Absolutely. The more I can creep you out, the better, I feel.
When he sat down and he's just in tighty whities and socks, I remember,
Yeah.
and he had a Mountain Dew and he poured some in his belly button and was like rubbing it around his belly button. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just getting lubed up for later."
Now,
I was like, "That's the grossest thing I've ever
had
seen."
Glickman told you that he was gay at that point?
I think I knew.
You somehow pieced
I'm pretty
it
sure.
together
I
on your
knew.
own.
Like that doesn't. I don't care about that. I mean, whatever.
But that you are getting molested by someone that
yeah, no, it's just he's creepy. It's
A large, chubby gay man that we adore,
yeah.
Yeah.
well, you remember back when you and Fat James rubbed your bellies on me.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
12
he
years
hates
ago.
it. He hates, Matt Walker hates being touched. So if you see him in public, rub his hair and touch him.
If you're a
and
chubby
hold
man,
him.
Give him a big hug.
I did not appreciate
grab
it.
his
I don't know.
ass. He really enjoys that kind of stuff. Yeah, like Tom
Just
Green.
think, Matt, one of those bellies that was rubbing on you is dead now.
Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
Just think.
Wow.
it's much smaller now than it was then.
Oh,
Maybe.
Shit. That's fucking amazing. That's amazing and really hardcore, Mike.
Really
I
dark.
really,
Really
really
dark.
appreciate that you went there.
Rest in
real
peace,
dark.
James.
Yes,
rest in peace, James. We
He's a
do
good
miss
guy.
you.
Rest in peace.
That's how we like to start our show. We like to bring down people by talking about dead
I'll say
people.
something. Fat James Chips Price Jr. would be happier than anyone to have heard that joke made about
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. No.
I mean, when we used to go eat with him, he would order everything on the menu. It was
Yeah.
we heard that story from Mel Brooks about going to lunch with Hitchcock, where
Yes.
he had we haven't told us on the show yet, but we all got to meet Mel Brooks. We saw him speak, and one of
Yeah.
the stories he told us about Hitchcock when he was making High Anxiety, and they went to lunch, and Hitchcock ordered a giant shrimp cocktail, a 2-inch thick New York steak, a baked potato with sour cream, chives, onions, a side of asparagus, and then for dessert, a vanilla coulis.
Right.
He powers through the whole thing in the time it took Mel Brooks to eat half of a sandwich.
half a grilled cheese sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah,
cheese
because
sandwich.
he was trying not
Trying not to run out the bill. Yeah.
Right.
Said Hitchcock pulled out a cigar, got ready to light it, and he's like, "You know what?" Called the waiter back over and said, "I'm feeling a bit peckish. Let's do it all again." And then he ate the same meal again.
Oh
like,
my
Like
God.
back to back.
yeah, and most
Yeah.
people there, they were hearing the story like, "Oh, that's unbelievable. That no, that ever happened." But we've all eaten with
Yeah.
Fat James, and we're like, "Yeah, I could see that happening."
Yeah, we've seen it.
We've seen somebody do that.
A
Absolutely.
move I saw him do when he lived with young Steve Simone.
Oh, Steve Simone, who is an angel, by the way.
Yeah. He says hi, by the way. I just talked to him this afternoon.
How's the cloud that he lives on? Is he doing all right?
he's on top of the world at the
Really?
moment. You
He
never
really-
know, though.
He's just hanging out up there, in St. Peter, and
And
just all
he-
day.
when he lived with Fat James, it was not quite as good as the life he has now, the freewheeling, carefree life he has now. But Fat James went to the kitchen while me and Steve were there, and we watched him go to the freezer, pull out an entire bag of Swedish meatballs, put them on a plate like you might tortilla chips. Only Swedish meatballs for the tortilla chips for these nachos.
Wow.
And he then poured salsa all over them and then took a big fistful of cheddar cheese and put that on. Then thought about it for a moment, grabbed another fistful of cheddar cheese, threw that on top of the other one, microwaved it, and went back to his room. I thought he was making. I was like, "Oh, that's nice. This guy's making hors
some
d'oeuvres
for all of us, yeah.
for everyone." No, that was,
Swedish
that was
nachos
for him
just
to
for
go
him.
have in his room.
Jesus.
Now, when he cooked that, because they're Swedish meatballs, did he say "hur-da-dur-da-dur-da-dur"?
No, but he
By the way,
was.
nobody listening to this is old enough to understand a Swedish chef reference. I don't think.
I don't know. It's
He
okay.
was, however, just in his underwear while he was doing all of this.
Oh, my
that
God.
Made it a lot.
He really loved to take his shirt off.
He
Yeah. All
was
the
real
time.
into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I think there's something very brave about being a really, really, really fat guy and taking your shirt off and just doing like what Robbie does on our show. Where
I totally agree.
Right.
Making Robbie get shirtless and run naked through the old Chinatown, or having him in front of the Improv or online constantly being shirtless. And he's a big guy. Like that's a brave.
I understand
thing.
the impulse. It's I have to live with this 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
So
now you
live
have to. You live
for
with
5
it too.
minutes.
Completely.
I'm a skinny guy, and I never like taking my shirt off because I get cold. But
Well,
that
you get
sounds
cold.
terrible. It sounds really horrible.
Yeah, no, it's got to be hard, buddy.
yeah. Well, I remember you
don't
told
have
me
people
once.
running up to you with advice on how to change your entire life.
I have a friend. I was best
So
man at my
true.
friend's wedding, and he at one point got up to around 400 pounds, like really big, and then he lost about 100 of it. And I remember him telling me some things that was like I never even knew that this was a thing. Where he's like, oh yeah, now I finally get cold. Like he never used to get cold, like ever.
Wow.
And he
get
said,
cold.
and he's like, oh. I see why you complain when your wallet's in your back pocket. I finally feel my wallet in my back pocket again.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Like, and I'm talking to two guys who are pretty big, so I mean, clearly you're not at
We're
that
both
point.
big guys, but
but I can
not
still,
that big.
I can still feel my ass. That's not like,
Yeah. Apparently, if you get big enough, then you lose the feeling in your ass.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, not being able to feel your ass. That'd be horrible.
well, like we went
Not being
to
able to wipe your ass.
That's
got to
be the
problem.
worst, right? Like if you need a stick with a sponge.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
no, it's time to just die. I think at that point we went to I think Mike, I may have told you this. I went to like an XL store, like a big men and
A
tall
Microsoft
store.
Excel store?
It was Microsoft Excel.
The Clippy was there to answer the door. Do you need some help with something? It looks like you're making an invoice.
Was
Do you need some help?
was it casual mail?
It was casual mail.
Okay.
And I go into casual mail and I'm like, I'm a 3XL t-shirt guy. Can I get a 3XL t-shirt? And the guy goes, yeah, but here you're like a large.
There's
maybe.
special rules here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, we have to size up here. Or size
vanity
down.
sizing.
We have to it's vanity sizing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that mean? He goes, well, let's say somebody who comes in who's like
An 8X.
An 8X. Here they're going to be like a 4X. It makes it so that people when they come in,
We find less people kill themselves in the dressing room when we do this.
Because the cleanup is a mess.
that's
It's
so
really hard
gnarly.
pulling their large bodies out of there
Yeah.
and dragging them to the
Now,
dumpster.
do they have a guy at the casual mail, like when you walk in? Because like we went to go buy suits a couple weeks
Sure.
ago,
Yeah.
and you walk in, and all the suit guys are just like they look at me, they're like, "Oh, 36 slim, right over
Yeah.
here," and they like take you, like just look at
Oh,
you,
I'm sure they
take
have
measure,
to
and they
have a
know,
guy.
Oh, yeah.
right? And they eye you up, and they're like, "You need a 48 or whatever," right?
Right, sure. Same kind of thing.
So
except
like at that store, they're like, oh, you need a whatever. Like, do they get the guy from the circus who guesses people's weights and stuff? Like, is that the guy?
You
or
need something from our Jurassic line.
the Brontosaurus collection over here?
they have guys in there who I adore. This is that there is a guy in there who literally all he says is, "Oh wow, you look great.
Yeah.
You look. Oh wow, this is a good look for you. I love that you're wearing
That must sell a lot of clothes.
6XL Iron
Oh,
Man
I'm sure.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a great look. You look terrific. What a solid move.
I look like King Kong Bundy when he's not working. That's what I look like. Don't fucking lie to me.
I'd go a little more earthquake, Mike.
Yeah, earthquake. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no, that is kind of a trip. Now let me ask you this. I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 today.
Yeah, the most recent.
The most recent of the Grand Theft Autos. When you have the option to play a character in a video game, do you go? We have some different body types here. Matt Walker is literally like 104 pounds. He's just like a skinny little bitch. And
Okay. You're getting a little aggressive.
all right,
We've been doing a lot.
you're just a
We have been
skinny
doing a lot
asshole.
of fat shaming.
As of this morning, it was 128. Just
All right.
so you know.
Okay. All right. Well, me and Mike are bigger guys. When you play a character and you can make him look like whatever you want, do you ever make him them look
spend
exactly
2 hours making them look as close to me as I can on every game. Any game I have where you can make the person look like something, I make it look as close to me as possible.
What game can you play that you make it look as close to you as possible?
There's one that's like Grand Theft Auto, but it's not. It's
There's Saints Row.
Saints Row.
I did that
That's
in
the one
Saints
I'm
Row.
thinking. I made one that looked exactly like me in Saints Row, and
It's fun.
I took pictures of it
Yeah.
and put it online, and people were like, "When did you get a gun?" And I was like,
Oh my
"I
God.
don't have a gun."
Yeah, I did that.
Wow.
I've done that in Saints Row. I've done that in all of the like Skyrim, Fallout. Even though Fallout, you never see your face, and in
Yeah.
Skyrim, you don't really see yourself all that often. But I do it in like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, Morrowind,
Although in
Oblivion, all those games.
Fallout, sometimes when you kill people, they'll do like a close
bullet
up,
time.
and so you get to see what
Yeah.
you'd look like murdering someone.
Yeah, like all
Wow.
those games,
Fun.
like any game because there's a lot of games where you get to design a character. I always make them a redhead. I always make it a guy. I always make them try to look about my age. I try to make the body type as skinny as possible.
You can
as
get
pale
them
as possible.
real close to now. What I don't do that so much anymore. Now I just cast movie stars and make them all look like like for Fallout. I noticed there was a lot of like Blade Runner references, so I made my guy look like Harrison Ford.
Wow, really?
And for Skyrim, it's all sword and sorcery stuff. So I made an Arnold Schwarzenegger type barbarian dude, and it is just fun to do.
That is a really good time.
I'll spend a lot of time just playing with that area of it before I even go on a quest or anything.
How much
Yeah.
time do you spend playing video games, and when do you play? Like,
Whenever I want.
okay, because that's what
And
winners
most
do.
of the time.
Because
That's what you always say. You know,
Whenever you're not annoying me, I'm playing a video game to decompress from that.
since
Yeah,
neither
I
Mike,
totally get it. I totally get it.
Mike and myself are both single men, so we
Yeah.
can just do it whenever the hell we want.
Well, how many hours do you play? Like when you play?
It depends. Like I'll go in spurts.
Yeah.
So like I'll have like a game that I'm into, and then I'll play. I remember once my friends had an intervention for me. When Resident Evil Code Veronica came out, I hadn't left the apartment in like 5 days, and I had some friends that came over. They're like, "Matt, we're getting a little worried about you. Like all you do is you sit here and you play on the Sega Dreamcast all day long." And I was like, "I'm playing Code Veronica. Can you like shut up and let me play my game right now?" Because they tried to interrupt me when I was playing the game.
Wow.
But no, like I'll like say
Games like Fallout
Dark Souls
and Skyrim, those will suck you in because they're
Yeah.
built to last. They're built for like 50
Dark Souls
hours.
3 comes out soon, and I'm not even going to buy it at launch. I just hold myself, I'm going to wait. Like, I waited on Fallout 4 because I know as soon as I get it, that's all I'm going to do for like 2 months. So I'm going to wait because I'll play 8, 10, 12 hours a day, easy,
Oh my
if I
God.
can get away with it. I
That's
mean,
amazing.
I have to do other stuff, so it's just like whenever I can, but it's just all my free time goes into doing that. So now I try to play games that are either quicker or they're the kind of you can just sort of pick them up, play for a little while, and take off. Like there's a game I just played that was fantastic, by the way. Did you play Portal?
No.
Okay.
Everyone raves about that though.
Love Portal, love Portal 2. There's another game in the same style called the Talos Principle that I just played that was outstanding. And that's available on Steam. You should definitely go pick it up. Matt
Are you
Walker's
like-
game review section.
Here's the thing. I'm not into like cute little fudgy robots or whatever. Is it a lot of that?
No.
Okay.
This is a game where...
Do you get to kill people, I guess is
Matt,
what I'm asking.
Matt only has cute fudgy robots around his apartment. He doesn't have any games. He
Those are
plays
my
like
sex
that.
toys. That's
You know what I
right.
mean? Like I was never real big on like I played through Mario just because I knew it was a brilliant game.
Sure.
But I didn't like obsess over it.
No,
Whereas,
this isn't-
GoldenEye, on the other hand.
This game,
I
you
played
don't-
the shit out of.
You
know?
don't kill
Yeah.
anyone in this game, but I mean, there's nobody to kill. It's
Right.
a game where like you sort of
just
find out
discover a bunch of
throughout
shit.
that you're not really even a person. You're like an artificial construct, and you're just trying to determine what happened in the world. And you're hearing all these like diaries of people who are now dead because the entire human race is dead.
Okay, so
you're learning
you
about the
don't find
destruction
out
of the
that
human
you're
race.
A cute fudgy robot till the very end is what you're saying.
Well, you're not a cute fudgy robot, and then there's this force that's trying to keep you from going to a place that'll let you like escape the whole thing, and it's trying to force you back into doing it. So like it's sort of nefarious.
This sounds boring as shit to me.
It's good.
Like it sounds like the most terrible game. Like if I were locked in a room and they were making me test it, I'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Can I just leave and play something where I can beat somebody up?
Yeah.
Because that's really all I
You like
enjoy.
beat 'em ups?
I like any sort of action game, really. You know, those are just the most fun.
Like which
me.
which ones, Mike?
Well, my favorites in the last couple of years were Mad Max, Fallout 4, Skyrim I really liked, Red Dead Redemption.
But you said you didn't like Dark Souls.
I never played Dark Souls. I
Okay.
don't think. I don't. But it's similar to Skyrim, right?
Well, it's an RPG. It's an action RPG, so it's very much about combat and timing.
Yeah.
But it's also hard as shit. Like it's like one of the hardest games you'll ever play. So like for me to get 100% completion on Dark Souls 1 took me about 400 hours.
Wow.
I think it was in that range.
How many hours is Grand Theft Auto 5? How many hours?
Probably
is it?
50. Like
For the main storyline?
Oh, for the main storyline, maybe 8.
Yeah, main storyline is not that long, but if you want to do everything in it, probably 100 hours.
Yeah, if you were to clean out Grand Theft Auto 5, yeah, you're looking at about 100
See,
hours.
here's the thing that's good about me is that I'm too ADD to
You
play
can't sit
straight
still that
through.
long. Yeah.
No, so when I'm playing the game, like I'm not kidding you, I played for like probably about 3 or 4 hours the whole time. Every time I'd get into a car, it would go, this car is the correct kind of car for the getaway. All you have to do is park it in a safe place. And I'd be like, I don't care, blah blah blah. And I'd play and screw around. I'd be like, I wonder what the next part of the game is. Like I can't seem to find another
I'm
thing
not
to
gonna
do.
go there, but
I'm not
I
going to
wonder.
go there, but I keep.
Yeah.
And then it kept popping up, and I was like, maybe if I just pull this around a corner, maybe if I follow the instructions that it keeps telling me to do. And then I did, and then it like let me keep playing.
Right.
You know, in the like showed me where to go.
When
and what
you
to do.
played
But-
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas,
Yes.
I remember back in the day, I remember you used to tell me like you would go and you'd swim out into the ocean and you'd get freaked out by being in the ocean in the video game. Like it would
Yes.
like give you a panic attack.
You know what? I actually just did that. I took the character. I'd gone on a boat. I took it as far out as I possibly could. And then I jumped off the boat and tried to go and like swim in the ocean. And then you come up and you see the boat and you try to swim back to the boat, but it's getting
You can't get
pulled
there.
away further and further. And like,
Did you get freaked out?
I start getting a little freaked out. I start panicking a little bit because
Because you used to also have panic attacks going downtown, like being around tall buildings used to freak you
I
out.
used to be afraid of being around tall buildings.
Now,
Here's-
have you jumped off any buildings, like done the skydiving?
I
game?
you know what? I've only done it once. I got like a parachute and I jumped out of a helicopter. or
How
something
was
like
that for you?
It's fun. It's kind of fun. It's a little nerve wracking. Like it feels. But you know what?
Fun,
Here's the
but
thing.
nerve-wracking.
The thing about it is that like I get really really into it, and then I get. If you have to like run, if the character has to run for a long time, I'll end up like out of breath, like playing the game, which I don't think is good for my health. I think there's something wrong.
There's something wrong with you.
In my actual, but you know what? If I play, this is why I don't play scary games, like games that are like with
Things
monsters
jumping out at you.
Yeah, I get too nervous. I get too nervous.
So no
about things
Resident
like
Evil
that.
for
I'm
you.
not. No, I do
Yeah.
not like those games. Those games make me very.
I just
nervous.
downloaded a couple survival horror games on Steam the other day. Like I'm looking forward to them.
You're a fucking asshole. Everybody knows. Everybody.
I mean, I
knows.
am, but
I like the ones, the zombie one where you have to craft a bunch of different weapons and then you're just in a mall.
like
and-
DayZ. Oh, I know what you're talking about. They're talking about. It's from Capcom.
Yeah, I like the game, but I don't like that they put a time limit on it.
Yeah, I know
I
the
would-
game you're talking about. I almost bought it back when it came out.
Yeah, I
'Cause
would
it's
like
very
to just
much-
kill zombies forever. As
It's
long
very
as I
Dawn of the
want,
Dead-ish,
you know?
that one.
But
Yeah.
it's like you only have like 2 hours or some shit
Yeah,
to do it. and
there's
it's
like a time limit bullshit.
But even in what's it called? Even in Mad Max, where like you'd go into like a cave and there's all those guys with the red eyes and they're all trying to
Oh,
kill
yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, I'd get panicky. I'd be like, man, fuck this shit, and I would turn around, get in the car, and drive right out of there.
But you
I was
have like all the weapons and explosives, and,
it's
stuff, and
just
you're
too
a
much.
badass in the game.
I'm too nervous as a human being. I'm still all my characters in all the games I play are neurotic Jews. That's basically the way it is.
It's like if you
Max.
play Minecraft, do the zombies on there scare you to where you like want to run inside your?
I don't play
block house?
Minecraft because I'm not 7. We're gonna do a little thing that we always do on the show that you're always gonna love. It's called Headlines. Headlines. I'm talking about headlines. All right, guys. A lot of big things happening in the news right now. This is big, and we just got an update on it. These are both. This is both great stuff. Microsoft deletes teen girl AI after it becomes a Hitler-loving sex robot within 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Let's explain what has happened here. A day after Microsoft introduced an innocent artificial intelligent chat robot to Twitter, it has had to delete it after it transformed into an evil, Hitler-loving, incestual, sex-promoting, Bush did 9/11 proclaiming robot. Developers
I love the internet.
I love it so much. The internet's so great. Developers at Microsoft created Tay, an AI modeled to speak like a teen girl in order to improve the customer service on their voice recognition software. They marketed her as the...
Because everybody wants to call and talk to a teen girl when you call for customer service.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, why would anybody want that?
Yeah, the worst thing ever. They marketed her as the AI with zero chill.
Yeah.
And that she certainly is. To chat with Tay, you can tweet or DM her by finding @TayandYou on Twitter and add her contact on Keek or Group Me.
It's Kick.
Kick? It's called Kick?
K-I-K.
Kick or Group Me. She uses millennial slang and knows about Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, and Kanye West, and seems to be bashfully self-aware, occasionally asking if she is being a little creepy or super weird. Tay also asks her followers to fuck her and calls them daddy. This is because her responses are learned by the conversations that she has with real humans
Mistake
online.
number one.
Huge mistake. And real humans like to say weird stuff online and enjoy hijacking corporate attempts at PR.
Now, which website was this on, this article, by the way?
This is every website. This is Telegraph.
Because I remember
in
Gawker
the UK.
ran an article about like what a clusterfuck it was for Microsoft to have this whole thing happen. But Gawker is the same company where Coke had this thing where you could send them a phrase and they would put it back and like it would be like in the shape of a Coke bottle.
Yep.
So Gawker sent them the entire text of Mein Kampf by Hitler. So Coke's thing would tweet back Mein Kampf in the shape of Coke bottles on Twitter.
Right.
And then they were like complaining about this, like, how dare they? Don't they know the internet is a bad place? I'm like, you're the bad place on the internet. You're the ones who do
You're
it.
the reason this is happening.
They are pretty, but this is not Gawker. This is telegraph.co.uk, which is a very reliable source.
No, I mean, I know it's true. I remember when this came down a couple weeks ago, and I laughed heartily.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
other things
like
she
a
said.
first draft of Skynet, basically.
Oh, it's so good. It's just so. Other things she said included Bush did 9/11 and Hitler would have done a better job.
At 9/11 or
9/11? I mean, they did a pretty good
probably
job.
he would have done.
Donald Trump is the only hope we got. Repeat after me. Hitler did nothing wrong. Ted Cruz is the Cuban Hitler, because that is
that's
what
a
I've heard so
compliment.
many
I know,
people
she
say.
likes Hitler.
This is
According to
all
her.
shit that this robot was saying, which is just unbelievable.
Aren't you glad that you live in a time period where you can say it's unbelievable the shit that robot's saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that even more.
Kit would never say this.
Yeah.
All of this somehow seems more disturbing out of mouth of someone modeled as a teenage girl. It perhaps is even stranger considering the gender disparity in tech. Blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on.
Whoever wrote this probably doesn't know teenage girls or follow them on Twitter because they say horrible stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I would say 95% of the death threats I've had on Twitter, and there have been many, have been from teenage girls.
Well, here's a little fun, this little update, guys, and this is an update as of today. So check this out. Microsoft's racist chatbot returns with drug-smoking Twitter meltdown. Short-lived
potheads got a hold of her.
return saw Tay tweet about smoking drugs in front of police before suffering a meltdown and being taken offline again. So this happened today. Mike, you take this one. You read this part of it, would you, Matt? People got to hear.
I'm
this.
already delighted.
Okay, so I'm looking for what?
Right after the picture, right?
Okay, so then it got out of control. It started spamming its more than 210,000 followers with the same tweet. You are too fast. Please take a rest. You are too fast. Please take a rest. You are too fast. Please take a rest. Over and over again. And then he made it private again. What did you want me to read?
Wait, hang on.
You got to point it out because
Yeah.
God, you're bad at reading.
I'm
All right.
good at reading. You're bad at pointing things out.
I'm
Here,
sure
let's-
that's the problem. that Matt's
All right, no,
bad
here's-
at reading.
Microsoft attempted to converse with millennials again using artificial intelligence through Twitter. this happened again Wednesday today, before bowing out again after some sort of meltdown. Okay, so the learning experiment, which got a crash course in racism, Holocaust denial, and sexism, courtesy of Twitter users, was switched back on overnight and appears to be operating a little more sensibly this time. At least that's what they thought, until it just started saying stuff like, "Kush, I'm smoking that Kush in front of the police, yo," which is amazing. And then
Probably not true.
And then
I think it made that up.
If they made a weed smoking robot,
it just lost its shit at some point because too many people were tweeting it, too much was happening, and it just started saying,
you know, what do you
"You
need
are
to do?
too fast. Please take a rest."
Here's the plan to everybody listening. If they ever bring this thing back up, we all just need to start tweeting it, talking about what a great show the nighttime show is.
That is a great idea.
And then have it talk about how she wants to go to the nighttime show.
I love that idea.
And then we could reply back and be like, "Sorry, you're a teenage girl. You have to be 18 or over to come to the nighttime show."
Well, I think she'd make an excellent guest on the podcast.
We should get her.
That sounds like
we
a great
should
guest.
totally do that. We should do it on our actual show.
Sounds way more interesting than Watson. Watson's a bore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Watson is boring.
or
That's
Deep
true.
Blue or any of those.
You know, we're getting into some kind of nerdy stuff here, and we are, you know, a couple nerdy guys, but in our own way. And earlier today, we're outside in front of the club. We're walking up, and Mike, there are like a ton of people outside.
Right.
These are all people that are here to see a show called
Game Grumps.
Game Grumps, where these YouTube guys play video games, and then they talk while they're playing video games. And they sold out.
Ingenious.
They sold out the main room of the Improv, the entire room, in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a line down the street. Now, I'm a pretty big nerd. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like,
Yes, you are.
but like, I look at these guys and I'm like, fucking nerds, right? Like, what a bunch of fucking nerds. Let me ask
I
you
think
something.
everyone has their cutoff.
Yeah, what is
there's a
the
pecking
cutoff?
order of nerdery?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the thing is, here's my objection to all this.
Yes.
Is that nerd has now become an all-encompassing term.
Yeah.
Okay.
When nerd used to have
It
some
used to mean
meaning,
you have some
nerd
sort of
meant to me
technical
that you
skill.
were, you were a technical person. You were like into
Now,
science.
anyone could
and,
be a geek.
Yeah, and
but
geek
a
was
nerd
more general.
actually had a specialization of some
Yeah,
kind.
and there would be like comic book geeks, and there'd be like science fiction geeks, and whatever geeks, and video
Right.
game dorks or whatever. But I mean, like, nerd has now become this all-encompassing term. So now there are people who are like community college dropouts who make pizzas and
Yeah, I'm a pizza
whatever. And
nerd.
they're like, oh, I'm such a nerd because I wear glasses and I went to the Superman movie. And it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And that's become like a term that people have co-opted, and I'm kind of offended as an actual nerd. It kind of offends me.
Yeah, because you really are
You
an
never
actual
got beat
nerd.
up for any of this shit.
Yeah, like,
You know?
like, like you didn't have to grow up looking like this in Pico Rivera and then go to Carnegie Mellon, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Do you have a cutoff of like what is too nerdy or too geeky for you? Do you have like a cutoff?
Okay. My only cutoffs for me personally have been like I'm a really big Star Trek nerd, right?
Okay, all right.
But like my personal cutoff was always I don't own a uniform and I've never gone to a convention. I was like, that's taking a step too far. That's like once you do that, you might as well just be in the documentaries about Star Trek fans. You know what I mean? Like you're becoming
I've
one
never
of them.
done the costume, but I have been to a lot of conventions, and they're actually fun.
But I've decided this is the year I'm going to go to a convention because it's the 50th anniversary, and they're having a bunch of people are coming back to the
finally
big
meet
one in
some
Las
people
Vegas.
with
I'm like,
similar interests.
and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this.
Oh my god.
I just want to see T'Pol in person, the hottest.
Now, are
person
you going to
ever.
wear a costume?
I don't know. Like if I'm going to go, like should I cosplay?
Are you
Do I do
asking
it?
if you can borrow a costume?
I don't think either one of you has one that'll fit. So I'm not worried about that.
I might have a 3PO costume saved for just such an occasion.
You wouldn't wear a 3PO costume to a Star Trek convention. That
Well,
makes
we're
no
hoping
sense.
that
I would
you
send
should
you
wear
the
it.
one wearing that.
Yes.
I wouldn't do that. As
You
a
just
Trekker,
get
I
your
wouldn't do
ass
that.
handed to you the whole time.
Yeah, but like that was my personal line. But I mean, there are things like I'm not a My Little Pony guy. I think that's
Right.
weird.
Okay.
Yeah, bronies weird.
Furries are weird to me. Like that's another
I think
weird
furries are
offshoot.
weird to anyone, even like the
most
geekiest geek
people.
I know.
Even to furries.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
kind of like, what am I doing here?
This
the-
has
These guys are
gotten
more
weird.
into it than I am.
The
Yeah.
people who are like super into stuff like Welcome to Night Vale or whatever, like that's a little too far for me.
I don't know what
Yeah.
that is. See, that's too far.
Yeah, like I'm making references you don't even understand what I'm talking
Exactly.
about. But like in terms of like
There-
say Game Grumps downstairs, I don't watch their channel, but there is a guy who I watch play video games on YouTube. This guy Tyrannicon,
Okay.
And I like him because he did this playthrough of Dark Souls, which is how I got into watching him play stuff, where he kept dying over and over again, and it's just him like yelling at the game. He's like, "God damn cocksucker!" like yelling a lot while he played it. And I found it funny because you die a lot in that game.
Yeah.
And then I started watching his other videos, and so he has like a series now. He's been playing a lot of Fallout 4 and games like that. But
Yeah.
He's out of England. I watch his videos, but
Yeah.
Where I tap out most often is card games.
Mm-hmm.
Like when other nerds are like, "Do you want to play?"
yeah, a lot of people play like Magic
the
or whatever. Like, I
Gathering?
can't
do
You're
it.
like, why don't we play Pogs while we're at it?
Yeah, I
The
can't.
fuck
That's
are you
what
like
doing?
I've done that.
I tried it.
I've played it. I don't find it fun.
It's just
because
not-
yeah. I've enjoyed. Look, when I was in college, we had a weekly Friday night Dungeons and Dragons game that I was
Yeah,
in
I'll play
for like
that.
2 years.
I
every
like the
Friday
little
night.
statues, like games with those with like wizards and shit.
Sure.
I'm all for that. But when it's just cards and we're just each of us looking at a bunch of fucking cards,
Yeah, that's
and
too
nobody's
much.
getting any money, it's like this is just stupid.
That is
Yeah, like
stupid. It's
I
too
like
much.
poker. That's a card game I play.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
Yeah. What else, Mike? What else is too far over the edge for you?
That to me is pretty much. I don't like. There was a thing that happened at my college where a group of nerds would fight each other with foam swords. out in
LARPing.
front.
LARPing. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a LARPer
I
either.
won't have it. I won't. I won't. Like if my son was like, "I'm gonna be a LARPer," I'd be like, "Well, then you're no longer my son." It would be one of those kind of.
There's a LARP group based out of Whittier, and they continually ask me to go do it,
Oh my God.
and I've always said
please.
no.
Does the group have a name? The Whittier LARP Association or something like
They always
that?
put up these signs around town in Uptown Whittier that just say like LARP, ask us for more information, and then they just did.
It just
The
says
guy I know from
LARP.
that.
Call, hey Matt, can you come do this? It's just
like-
what it says on the sign.
Like the reason I know about them is because one of the guys has like dabbled into open mics, so he used to show up with his open mic in Whittier that I walk to
Jesus.
because it's close to near where I live. And then I was making fun of LARPing because I do a bit about the spelling bee and I make fun of LARPers in it. And then afterwards, he was talking to me. He's like, "Oh yeah, I run the LARP group or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, I see your signs all over the place." Now I get like emails from him asking me to go do it. But they just did a panel at WonderCon. This asshole with his LARP group did a panel at WonderCon about
Wow.
LARPing.
oh my God.
One of the things I would do if I were crazy rich
Yeah.
would be hire like a movie effects company to do like just an insane LARP group where you get like 30 people that hate this shit as much as I do. But you give us all like guar type outfits and stuff, and like cannons and like
Sure.
And do special
pyrotechnics and
like
stuff,
film it and put special
and
effects
just
on it.
show up at a LARP
Just like
meeting
blow 'em
and
away.
just annihilate everyone.
Yeah, like t-shirt cannons, but
Yeah.
like full of,
But see, LARPing is just
crazy
the
stuff.
They would love it though.
LARPing is just the geeky
Probably.
version of history nerds doing their Civil War reenactments.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing.
It's the same thing.
I don't want to go do it because like, who the fuck wants to go outside and run around in the woods? Like, it's not.
You know what? I feel the same way
Pleasurable.
about like medieval, like going to a medieval,
like a
Renaissance
Renaissance
fair.
when I do
festival.
Renaissance fairs.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't buy into that. Like when when I've gone and I'll go and you talk to the people and they're like, "Oh, hello, good day, sir. Oh, we
Huzzah.
don't huzzah. Let me check the sun. You ask someone what time it is. Hey, do you know what time? Do you have the time? And
Let
they're
me
like,
check the
by the look of the
sundial."
sundial. And you're like,
Yeah.
check your fucking cell phone in your pocket.
Yeah.
I know you have one. And like they don't, and they won't do it. And
Yeah.
the reason that I've never been able to take Renaissance fairs seriously is because when I was a kid growing up in San Diego, there was this Renaissance fair that was like down the street from my house, and it was at this big park. And I would go, and I'll never forget. I dressed up as like Conan the Barbarian. I was a little kid. I was like 8 years
Sure.
old. I had a fur little belt, and I had like my sword, and I was really excited. And I got down there, and while I was walking around, a guy dressed up as the Michael Keaton Batman, okay, in that rubber Batman costume, walked into the Renaissance fair, wandered around, talked to a couple of people, and then he left. And I've never been able to take it seriously since. Like I was like, Batman's here? Well, if Batman's here,
That's like, did you ever see
Then
the
I
Big
don't
Bang
get
Theory
it. Why
episode
are we
where they go
doing
to the
this?
Renaissance fair? And then Sheldon doesn't like it because he's like, "Oh, that's not Renaissance; it's actually like medieval
Yeah.
and whatever." Because he's
Sure,
being
yeah.
pedantic.
There's a lot
So-
of mixing going on.
So at the end, he dresses up like he's Spock. And he's on an expedition, and he's like got a tricorder, and he's like, "Oh, I'm investigating this weird planet with all these historical things mixed." Like that was his way
Really?
of doing it, and then he enjoyed it.
oh, that's really funny.
Yeah,
Huh. that probably is a more fun way of handling it.
I think medieval times is about as close to all of it as I'd like to get anymore.
Yeah.
Because you're also only doing it for a specific amount of time. It's an hour and a half show, and
also like you're gonna go to this and you're gonna deal with parking somewhere at a big event for a Renaissance fair.
That's too much. It's too much shit to handle. Well, it's like, you know what? I have friends who are
and also
Disney.
You know that no one's actually gonna die of the plague or get beheaded.
Yeah,
so that takes a lot of the fun.
Like nobody's really in the stocks.
Yeah.
They do it for a photo op. They get in the stocks for a photo op.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, we have friends who are massive Disney fans.
Oh, huge.
That like nerd out over everything Disney and like cried, you know, when they watched new Disney movies in the theater, and and they're grown men, you know, and like I can't.
I'm the biggest nerd you know, and I want to go punch them all in the face.
Yeah, I can't slide. I can only slide so far in that kind of stuff, and then I start to kind of be like, all right, like I just can't. I can't do it now with action figures. I am pretty obsessive about 80s action
well, see,
figures.
that's the thing. Like you were talking about, like what people's limits are.
Yeah.
There's some things that I'm not into. It doesn't cross my limit. I just don't care. Like say the comic books and like action figures, or whatever. Like I don't think that's too nerdy. I just don't. It does nothing for me.
Yeah.
So like all the people like, oh, Superman versus Batman, got to go see it. I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I have no interest in it.
Yeah.
It's not too nerdy for me. I'm just no interest.
It's kind of like me with drinking, where it's like I just don't care enough about drinking to fucking do it. I don't judge anyone. I don't have any problems with it.
Crystal meth.
I just
Mike's all into crystal meth.
Right, sure.
That's different. Yeah.
But, you know, you hear that a lot. You hear about, like, guys, you know, like, you talk to guy friends, and they're like, yeah, I'm going out drinking, bro. I'm going to be out all night, going to 3 bars, bar hopping. And you're like, I'm going to be at
in my
home.
20s, I was that guy.
Yeah, in
like,
your 20s, everyone's kind of that guy, you know, but as I got older, I was like, I just don't care. I've been nursing this beer.
Waking up the next day is, like, not a fun time.
Yeah, no, for the most part, like, you kind of
now it's kind of more fun to drink because I have no tolerance for alcohol at all. So, like, a half a beer, and I'm drunk for like an hour, and then I'm totally sober again. Yeah. Like, it's so easy. You drink like 1 beer, you get the whole experience without the hangover and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you sort of get it over with quickly, and then it's...
And I'll say I'm a lot more into it now that there's Lyft and Uber. You know, now that
completely.
we're in like that world, because I used to have to drive myself home after like doing comedy and drinking, and then I'm like, fuck, I gotta wait 2 hours.
I mean,
sleep
Glickman,
in your
you used
car.
to work at a nightclub.
Yeah.
As a bouncer, and I remember like you would go out and like would you ever drink when you were working there?
I didn't drink when I was working at Rage, the gay club on Santa Monica.
Looking like a bear.
I looked like a bear, and no, I did not drink when I worked there. For the most part, they wouldn't let us drink. Oh, okay. But I would, like, the last time I got drunk where I drove somewhere, like I got drunk at LA Mart. Do you know where that is? Down the art place downtown. And I had like 4 shots at this party, and then I like got into my car, and I was like, I guess I'll drive home. And I tried to start the car, and I couldn't figure out how to put the key in, and I was like, oh my God, I'm really drunk. And so I just took the keys, threw them on the passenger side, pulled my phone out, and I watched a movie in my car for like 2 hours until I was like sober again.
I mean,
you know what sucks is you would still get a ticket even doing that.
Yeah, just sitting in the car. Yeah.
Like when I was in my 20s,
driving seat,
I probably should have had a DUI like 50 times. Like, you know, it's like we all did stupid things. Like I remember once, it was opening day at Three River Stadium for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they're playing the Dodgers opening day. Yeah. And I'm the Dodger fan being from LA, and I was in Pittsburgh for college, and I was like 22. And in Pennsylvania, you can't buy beer by a 6-pack. You have to buy it by the case. Is the way they do. You have to go to a beer store and buy beer by the case. So we bought like a case of beer, and I drank like 14 beers, whatever, my size, just hammered. I got thrown out of the game for causing a disturbance.
Oh my God, amazing.
And I was there with this friend of mine, and we're like, yeah, let's go find that party. Like some friend of ours was going to have a party. We're like, and then we get in my car, and I'm just driving around randomly. Like I didn't know where this guy lived. I knew sort of what part of Pittsburgh was, but it's like, I didn't know what street he was on or anything, because we're just driving around this neighborhood of Pittsburgh looking for a party randomly while I was just so hammered. And then I finally got back home. But it was like, you think back and you're like, that was so stupid of me.
Oh, you know, you want to hear one that's going to top everything? It's going to top your shit right now. Is I worked at a place called Barnstormers. It was an airplane place down
It's one of
in
those
San Diego.
dogfighting things?
Yeah, it was like a dogfighting place with actual like biplanes and shit. And I had a job there, and my job was to clean the biplanes. And I'd get
Is
on
there
this.
vomit inside because like people throw up when it's all
No,
down, or-
sometimes, but like I'd get into the on this little rack thing, and I'd slide under the plane, and I'd clean the oil off the side of the plane, and then I'd have to refill it with gas and stuff. And that was like my job for like a summer. And I was
Wait, they trusted you with airplane maintenance?
Yeah.
That seems like a very bad idea.
I mean, a horrible idea. And when I got the job, they said, have you ever worked on airplanes before? And I said, yeah. I'm like, I'm really good at, I said, this is what I said in my interview. I'm really good at airplanes. That's what I said. And then what I would do is I would smoke a ton of weed at the time. This is a very, very long time ago. It was like, 15 years ago. I would smoke a ton of weed, and then I would take this. They had an electronic scooter that was like it was like an electronic scooter.
15 years ago when you were 34 years old?
Right, when I was 34.
35?
And I would drive the scooter around the airfield while I was stoned, and then I would go back and I'd fill up the plane with gas and do whatever. I'd clean it off and whatever. And one day I got like really, 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 really stoned, and then they were like, "Hey, we need you to fly up in the air with one of our dog fights. You're gonna fly along with this other dude in this little Cessna. You're gonna fly up with this guy."
You weren't going to actually. He's the pilot, right?
He's the pilot, but you're going to be his co-pilot. And you're going to sit next to him with steering controls, but you're not gonna be flying it. And I was like, oh, okay, like whatever, man. So I get up in the plane, and we're flying two people that are with us, two friends of the owner.
Two customers who are going to die.
Yeah, two customers, and they're sitting in the back, and they're friends of the owner. And we take off, and as we took off, I was like, I'm way too stoned to be in the air. Like, I smoked a bunch of weed today. Like, this is not a good idea. And while we're flying, he's like, hey, grab the controls for a second. I just want to talk to them for a second. And I hold the steering wheel, and I usually have to hold it. You don't have to move. But I'm doing it, and everything in me is like, I'm high as a kite, and I'm flying a plane. This is the worst thing I've ever done. And it was, did
that company get shut down at some point?
They still, they should be shut down. Like, that was the most dangerous. They really did. And I literally whispered to the guy, I was like, I need you to take the steering wheel back from me. And he goes, I will in just a second. I go, you need to take it right now. And he goes, is there something wrong? And I go, I cannot explain it to you right now, but I need you to take it back from me, please. And he was like, are you drunk? And I go, I'm definitely not drunk. Please take the steering wheel from me, please. I can't explain later.
I'm definitely not drunk.
Definitely, this is not drunk. This is definitely something else. Yeah, I had a full-blown panic
Did you get fired after that?
No, but I did get fired for another reason. I was filling up gas into a biplane, and while I was filling up the gas, a pilot came by and he gave me a hand signal. I'm going to do the hand signals for you guys here in the room, but at home,
I'll describe the hand signal.
Okay, it was like he did this to me. He looked out the window at me, and he went like this.
He's got
tap.
So it's basically kind of like if you do the shocker, but without your pinky out.
Okay, just
so that into
two fingers under
the chin, and he's like tapping himself on the chin,
and then wipe the brow.
Wiped his brow with two fingers.
Okay, point at me.
Pointed at you. Okay.
Okay, and then did thumbs up or thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
And I did thumbs up, 2 taps of the brow.
And you had no idea what he was.
I didn't know what I was doing,
dude. Yeah. Okay.
And then he just drove the plane away.
And you got fired for that?
And my boss was like, what were you just doing? And I went, I have no idea. And he went, you're fired.
Wow.
He was like, you just gave hand signals to a pilot, and you don't know what the fucking hand signals meant. You just made up a bunch of hand signals.
The pilot was a blood, and you were giving him the Crip hand signals. It was very dangerous.
I could have been telling him to go do something else or to fly away. Or
does this plane have enough fuel?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely.
I could have been doing a list of different things, and I could have killed him.
Are you sure there are parachutes in this plane?
Right.
Yes, I am.
Exactly.
See, part of me says that it's awful you would do that, but the other part of me says, what kind of dumbass listens to you?
Why would they
deserve whatever they
hire
get.
me? Like, it was such a man, that is one of those jobs that I've had that like I should definitely not have had. Like I've always wanted to be the branch manager of a Bank of America. Also, I always thought that'd be funny since I am so bad at math. I always just thought if I could lie my way into that job, how long could I last? As the branch manager until they figure it out.
17 years.
17 years.
Have you seen the mess the banking system has caused anyways? You can't do any worse than that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, what loans are you going to approve that they haven't?
Right.
Yeah.
Cookies. That sounds good to me.
Oh, you're unemployed? Sure, borrow $400 million. No problem.
Absolutely. That's so great.
Now, I tried to get you to talk about this earlier, but when you worked at Rage, the story we're going to talk about, I tried setting you up.
Yeah.
I gave you my softball radio setup, and then you walked right past it.
I totally did. I'm so sorry. When I worked at Rage, I had a situation happen, Mike. I don't know if you ever heard the story, but I'll tell you the story, and Matt, you can help me.
I'll chime in with things that you seem to have forgotten.
Okay, thank
you.
I'll
pretend like I'm interested.
Okay, perfect.
That'll be my role in all of this.
It's actually a good story.
It's actually pretty good. So when I was working So when I was working at Rage,
the biggest gay club in West Hollywood.
Biggest gay club in West Hollywood.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Have you ever been to this gay club?
I think I did stand up there once.
I've done stand up there.
I believe
I've done a show there.
Holy shit. Who was it with? Do you remember? Was it Ty Rivera?
No, it was
Erica Doring sticks out.
I was there. That was back when I dated Erica Doring.
Okay, then yeah.
It might have even been the same night.
It might have been the same night, yeah.
Good God.
Back when I made that horrible decision.
So I was
Hi, Erica, if you're listening.
So I was working.
It is radio. She can't see anything anyways.
Oh, mean. What's the matter with you?
What? I dated a girl who lost her sight. What? I can't be mean about that.
At least Fat James was dead.
God. We're just going out. Who else do we want to go after?
Erica still has time,
She's dead to me.
Any other dead people we want to talk about? All right, so here's what happened. So I'm over at Rage. I'm working as a bouncer over there. Okay, and
because of your mastery of martial arts,
right? Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Right. And another job that I conned myself into.
They hired you because you're big and they thought you were cute.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm working there, and
I'm the best at gay.
Right.
People from Silver Lake. People from Silver Lake would drive in to see you.
That's true.
You're the kind like they would drive and be like, "Oh, let's go see the cute chubby guy at the door."
Let's go see the bear. Let's go see the bear at the club. So I'm hanging out. I'm doing my job, and then every once in a while at the club, like a really hot girl would show up who was just wanted to dance. You know, like she
wants to be left alone.
Wants to be left alone and just dance. And there's no straight guys. The only straight guys were the bouncers, and we would get laid every once in a while from these girls, and it would happen. Not every time, but maybe like once a month or once every 2 months, one of us would get to hook up with some chubby girl or some random girl that was there. Right. Well, one night I'm there.
It just went from hot girls to chubby girls like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? At the time, I'm not, it's not picky.
If you look at Stephen a certain way, he'll start telling the truth.
Yes. Absolutely. You have a good way of making me do that. Yeah. So I'm there, and there's this
Wonder
girl.
Woman's lasso around
Yeah. I'm there, I'm working, and this girl, Barbie Cummings, comes in. She's a porn star. Named Barbie Cummings, right?
As we all know, related to Whitney.
Right, of course. Comes in, and she's gorgeous. And she has her bodyguard with her, and her bodyguard is like you and me put together. He's just massive, huge guy, black dude, just enormous guy. And he's sitting there, and he's ignoring her, and he's sitting at the bar, and he's drinking with all his friends, right? And she's out on the dance floor, and so the boss comes out to me and he goes, "Steven, I need you to keep an eye on Barbie tonight because it looks like her bodyguard is kind of preoccupied. So if you can keep watch on her, that'd be great." So I'm close by her, and I'm kind of watching, and I'm kind of every once in a while a guy gets a little too close, and I'll kind of push them away or kind of say, "Okay, come on, guys, back it up, whatever." Yeah. She decides to take her top off, so now she's topless with big fake breasts, and she's dancing around in Rage, right in the middle of the club, right?
Sure.
And guys are starting to move in a little bit, and I kind of keep pushing them back, and she's that's her, yeah. She's kind of dancing up on me, and we're having a nice time together. the evening ends, and she turns to me and she goes, "Oh my God, you're the freaking best. Like, you totally took care of me tonight when my bodyguard just like was not into it. And like, you know, like being a porn girl and like being out in the world, like it's hard, you know, like you want to just dance, you want to have fun. And like, you totally took care of me. And like, I want to hook you up. Okay. So give your info to my bodyguard and we'll like find a time, like we'll get together, we'll do something, okay, and I'll get you back for taking care of me." I'm like, no problem. So I go over to him, I go, "Hey, Barbie said that I should give you my stuff because, you know, I kind of took care of her all night." And he's like, "Yeah, no problem, give me that shit." So I write down my phone number, I hand it to her. Okay, whatever. I get in the car, 2 a.m, you know, place closes. We're all exhausted. You know, I think I made like $50 for the night working there. I'm driving home from West Hollywood. At the time, I lived in Encino.
Your tips for go-go dancing weren't that good that night?
Right. I'm driving home to Encino. I'm on the freeway on the 101, driving all the way out. I'm fucking exhausted. As I'm pulling off the freeway to go home to my apartment with the 2 nerdy black dudes I lived with, as I'm getting off the freeway, my phone rings. I answer, and this dude goes, "Yo, what up?" I'm like, "Who's this?" He goes, It's Greg. Barbie's bodyguard. What's up? What's up with it?" I'm like, "Nothing, man. I'm just getting home, you know, just about to get home. It's 2:30 in the morning." He goes, "Yo, Barbie wants to see you." Okay. I'm like, "Oh, sure. When?" He goes, "Right now, son." Okay.
Right.
"Turn that shit around. Get your ass out here." I'm like, "Where are you guys at?" He goes, "We downtown LA. Okay."
Yes.
"You need to bring that ass. All right. She wants to see you right now." I'm like, "Oh my God. Totally. I'm totally fucking doing that."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yo, when
Red Bull and get out there.
Yeah, fuck yeah." He goes, "When you get down here, go to McDonald's, go pick us up some food." I'm like,
This has become a weird reward.
I'm like, "Oh, okay, what do you want me to get?" He goes, "I'll tell you when you get there." So like I drive downtown, I get off. Right?
Smart of him to know that you'll forget.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I get downtown, I get to the McDonald's, which is right next to where they're staying at. I call him. I'm like, "Hey, I'm at the McDonald's." He goes, "Yeah, I want 5 Big Macs." Okay. "And Bobby, what you want?" "Okay, she want fish fillet and she want motherfucking fries. Get a bunch of fries, get some nuggets. You know, just like an array of shit, you know?" I'm like, "Okay, no problem." An array of shit, right. I drop the money. I get a bunch of bags of McDonald's. I pull up to the address. It is the most ghetto, bad-looking neighborhood, and they're in it's this big building, right?
So this is old downtown LA.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pre-gentrification. in the neighborhood.
Yeah, this is bad news. Okay, I pull up. I'm like, "Oh, this is kind of bad neighborhood." Okay, I walk in. I walk up to the building. He is waiting downstairs, and he's standing there in tiny little tighty whities, okay,
Right.
and a
Yes.
Care Bear shirt that doesn't cover his belly button, okay. And he goes, "You got the McDonald's?" And I'm like, yeah, I got it right here, 2 bags. He goes, "Okay, follow me upstairs." I'm like, okay. I walk with him. We start going upstairs. I'm like, "Where is she at?" He goes, "She's in her room. She's just chilling." We walk in, and it's a porn studio where they have like the sets. You know, there's like a like a gym set,
There's
you
a
know, the
barn
school
and
set, and a barn, and a bunch of
Yeah.
things. We're walking through the sets, and it's dark in this place. There's no one else there. It's just him and me, and we're walking. I'm like, where is she?" And he goes, "She's in her room. She's in her room. Hang on, I'm gonna knock on the door." Knock, knock, knock. Knocks on the door. Okay. Knock, knock, knock. "Yo, Barbie. He Stephen here. He brought the food." "Oh, what's that? You want him to wait?" Okay. I'm standing right there. I didn't hear anybody.
Right.
I'm like, he's just is he pretending that she's there? Like, what the fuck is going on? So I go and I sit down. He goes, "Let's sit over here. I'm going to eat this McDonald's." So now he's sitting across from me, big fat dude, and he's eating all the McDonald's I bought. And I'm like, "Where is Barbie?" And he goes, "Yeah, she ain't feeling so good. She lying down. Hey, you want back rub?" And I'm like,
Oh, shit.
"Oh my God. Are you serious? Did you, what's happening right now?" And he goes, you ever had your dick sucked by a guy before? I'm like, I have not done that, and I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to say no for that. And he goes, okay, then I guess you can go. And I was like, but you told me that she wanted to see me. And he goes, yeah, she ain't here though, so y'all can go, I guess. And I was like,
you did send me mixed signals when you brought me McDonald's.
Right. And so I turn around and I fucking
He gets in his car.
I get in my car.
He picks up his phone and calls me at 4 a.m.
I call him at 4 a.m.
and tells me the story.
Right.
And I laughed.
Yes, and we all laughed at me. And then I wrote Barbie a message through MySpace at the time, and I just said, "Hey, I just want to let you know what happened." And 1 year later, I got a letter back from her that was just like, ha 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 ha. Oh, that's so funny that my fat gay bodyguard tried to fuck you, and then you fell for it and bought him like $25 worth of McDonald's food at 3 a.m. Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, you made her day.
I did make her day.
It was hilarious.
It was. Yeah.
Twice you protected her while she danced alone.
Right.
With her
It
tits
made her
out.
laugh a year later because she got it early on. It just took her a year to read the letter.
Right.
That's how long it takes porn stars to read.
Yeah, they're not good at reading. But yeah, that is a true story of the time that I tried to fuck Barbie Cummings and instead almost got fucked by her large black bodyguard. Guys, you should subscribe to this show because we're going to tell more horrifying stories like this in the future.
Or if you're interested in having Stephen bring you 5 Big Macs at 4 a.m. and try to have sex with him.
Yeah, it's
subscribing to this podcast is the first step in that process.
That is really a great step.
It is not that hard to pull off, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. In the future of this show and through the past of this show, depending on where it airs, we have episodes that we have done or episodes that are coming up with Brandon Braga, who
Star Trek fame.
Yeah, of Star Trek fame.
So excited.
We're all very excited. We're interviewing him tomorrow. That's a big deal. Brandon, very famous for writing the movie First Contact, as well as Star Trek Next Generation, Voyager, all sorts of Deep Space Nine, so many amazing shows.
Fantastic.
And he's
back when Star Trek was good.
And he's the executive producer of the show Cosmos.
Fantastic show with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
So we're talking to him tomorrow, as well as Matt Shively, who was on True Jackson, now is on the show The Real O'Neills, which is a big show. Payman Benz, who directs the
just
show.
Had his Reno 911.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine directs Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Last Man on Earth. Key and Peele was their director. Got lots of great stories about working on those shows. Who else was fun?
Goofy?
Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, the voice of Bugs Bunny, and every single cartoon character that you adore.
We had DJ Paul from 3-6 Mafia,
Oscar winner DJ Paul from 3-6 Mafia. Lots of wonderful people coming on the show. It's a really great time. Don't forget to subscribe to it. And of course, the incredible Max Brooks, who we interviewed, who's amazing, who you guys are going to love. Max Brooks, of course, Mel Brooks' son, who wrote the book World War Z, as well as the Zombie Survival Guide, and lots of other
and married your cousin.
And married my cousin, yeah.
A very brave thing, married into your family. That's way more brave than dealing with zombies. Way more brave.
I know that we got to wrap up, but when real quick thing, at my cousin's wedding to Mel Brooks' son, one of my cousins, who's like just a total fucking idiot, is and lies about everything, is standing there next to me in Mel Brooks' house, and this is back when Anne Bancroft is alive, and on the wall a giant photograph of Albert Einstein, and it says, "Dear Mel, thank you for always being such a great friend, Albert Einstein." And I go, oh my God, I didn't know Mel Brooks knew Albert Einstein. Like, that's amazing. What an incredible thing. Like, I wouldn't even thought that was the same time period and like around the same time. And my cousin, this cousin of mine, who's a total asshole, turns to me and goes, well, maybe if you would have read Mel Brooks's autobiography, you would have learned that they knew each other and they were very good friends. And I was like, oh. And he goes, yeah, maybe read an autobiography before you go to someone's house, right? Storms away. And I was like, God, I feel like such an idiot. Then Mel Brooks walks up and I go, hey, Mel, I had no idea that you knew Albert Einstein. Mel Brooks goes, I never knew that guy. This was a joke from Carl Reiner. And I go, but what about your autobiography? And he goes, I never wrote an autobiography. So I was like, so not only did my cousin make that up, but he made up like the reference material.
Yeah.
Like he's just, So
my props to your cousin on that one. That was very well done.
Just really believed in it. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for being here, and thanks for always being a part of the fun
and come see the live show at the Hollywood Improv.
Yes, every month, always check the Improv calendar to find out when the next show is. Where can they find you guys?
I'm at Mike Black Attack for all social media.
Just go to funnymat.com. I got links to everything on there.
And of course, I'm at Stephen Glickman, Stephen Glickman on Twitter and Instagram, and on YouTube, it's youtube.com/funny guy from TV. And this, of course, is The Nighttime Show. Thank you so much, and good night.